Jimmy Kimmel was welcomed back to ABC last night to late night television, although I believe Nexstar and Sinclair, those networks, did not air Jimmy Kimmel, but he offered up an apology for the comments that got him in trouble and almost cost him his job. Let's play SOT number 5, him apologizing.
Anyone's mind, but I do want to make something clear because it's important to me as a human, and that is, you understand that it was never my intention to make light of the murder of a young man. I don't think there's anything funny about it. I posted a message on Instagram on the day he was killed, sending love to his family and asking for compassion, and I meant it, and I still do. Nor was it my intention to blame any specific group for the actions of what it was obviously a deeply disturbed individual. That was really the opposite of the point I was trying to make. But I understand that to some that felt either ill-timed or unclear, or maybe both. And for those who think I did point a finger, I get why you're upset. If the situation was reversed, there's a good chance I'd have felt the same way. I have many friends and family members on the other side who I love and remain close to, even though we don't agree on politics at all. I don't think the murderer who shot Charlie Kirk represents anyone. This was a sick person who believed violence was a solution, and it isn't. Ever.
TJ, Shamika, I'm going to start here. I call me a sucker. I buy his apology.
Oh, Jason. What is wrong with you? Have you never watched
sound here, TJ? I cannot judge this man's heart. I'm going to have to judge his actions. Only God can know the heart. And I think in that apology, he covered the right things. And so I'm going to accept him at his word. And his voice cracked in a way that mine cracks whenever I get emotional. And so, He's
a good actor. He's a great actor, Jason. He's a wonderful actor. I will absolutely give you that. And I might buy it if I haven't watched him do a version of this every time he wants you to feel sorry for him. This is what he does. Every time he wants universal health care, he tells a story and his voice cracks. Every time he wants something about immigration, he tells a story and his voice cracks, okay? He is a professional manipulator. You may be biblically sound, and we should not read into people's intentions. We also shouldn't absolutely let people manipulate us at every corner when we've seen that is what they are professionals at doing. So I'm glad he did it. Would I have him do something else? No. Get up. I actually would. Apologize to Charlie Kirk and the family. That's exactly what he did, because I really didn't hear that. What he said is, I had no intention. I didn't mean this. That's what I heard. Instead, he should have said, I had no business coming on and talking about Charlie Kirk and his family and talking about MAGA for 1 second. I had no business doing that, and I won't do it again. Sinclair and everybody else who won't put me on, I don't blame you. I hope at some point to earn your trust back. That's what he should have said. But instead, he wanted you to feel sorry for him. He made sure his voice cracked at the right moment. So people like, apparently, Jason Whitlock will buy his lie.
Shamika? Uh-oh. I don't hear Shamika. Does
I don't
anyone?
either.
Oh, wow. We got some sort of technical difficulty with Shamika. We'll see if we can get that fixed. She said something about having to turn. Let me play another excerpt, and this is where I don't like what Jimmy Kimmel did here, because I would have left Donald Trump out of this and left MAGA out of this in any way. And when you start attacking Trump or talking about Trump, you're really just attacking MAGA, and he could have saved that for another day. Let's play SOT number 7. This is Jimmy Kimmel on Donald Trump.
And I think unjustly, this puts them at risk. The President of the United States made it very clear he wants to see me and the hundreds of people who work here fired from our jobs. Our leader celebrates Americans losing their livelihoods because he can't take a joke. He was somehow able to squeeze Colbert out of CBS Then he turned his sights on me, and now he's openly rooting for NBC to fire Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers and the hundreds of Americans who work for their shows who don't make millions of dollars. And I hope that if that happens, or if there's even any hint of that happening, you will be 10 times as loud as you were this week. We have to speak out against this.
So this is where he loses me. He immediately goes on the offensive, and when you apologize, you should be smothered in humility. It's not the time to go on an attack. If he did it today, a day later, I'd have no problem with it. But doing it on the same night, problematic for me. I think Shamika's mic is fixed. Shamika, your thoughts?
Well, Jason, I is it fixed? Can you all hear me? Okay. Yeah, I agree with you initially. And I was thinking this is why I was married for so long, because the tears just really moved me at first. But then after watching this second clip, I agree with you. I'm trying to figure out I agree with TJ, who actually felt compassion when Roseanne was fired because Obama couldn't take a joke. So this happens, and for Jimmy Kimmel to act as if he was the first person this ever happened to, it's just not him being authentic. But initially, I did buy the tears. But I will say this, I don't feel like he gets a lot of views on his show, probably this time because he's just coming back. Give it a month, and the ratings will be exactly what they were before they took him off.
I also think his argument is intentionally disingenuous in terms of, like, hey, Trump's not, he has the ability to take a joke. But when everybody tells the exact same joke for 10 straight years and they never tell a joke on Joe Biden, who's a walking punchline to a joke, and you never tell one, that's what Trump is objecting to. That's what everybody on the MAGA side of things is objecting to. Is just like, hey man, if you want to crack jokes on Trump, just crack a few on. They never touched Kamala, never, rarely touched Joe Biden, and so I just think he's making a dishonest, false argument. That's the other thing that undermines Jimmy Kimmel in this instance. TJ.
And look, Trump has never been more justified in wanting people fired because he saw that your jokes about him being an authoritarian Nazi has turned into violence. But why would Trump want you to be able to continue on? Look, there are two separate arguments in play here. I have some sympathy for him coming on, and I certainly would have preferred that he did it today, like you said, coming on and say, look, I get that ABC's governed a little bit differently by the FCC, and this was a crime and all that, but this feels like censorship. It feels political. I think the government should stay out of it. That's a fair argument, one that I would lean towards, okay? The other side of it, though, is what Trump actually wants. You think Trump wants people taking shots at him because the guy who did hide in the bushes at the golf course and try to kill him was just convicted on all accounts like yesterday. Okay. Like there are actually people trying to take them out, and all of this today, Gavin Newsom went right back at it and said he doesn't think there's going to be an election in 2028 if Democrats don't stand up today, 2 weeks to the day that Charlie Kirk was murdered. Okay. Hillary Clinton came out today on MSNBC and said, in some different words, that these white Christian men continue to do the damage in America. They're going right after him. They do not care that Charlie Kirk died. And so does anybody in the world blame Donald Trump for not wanting them to continue to spew that on network television, on cable television, on ABC, on literally every channel? Trump's like, you've seen the fruit. They tried to kill me, missed by this much, thanks to God moving my head. Charlie Kirk's dead. Yes, I get an opinion that I think you shouldn't be able to do that anymore. And that's why this whole thing's so absurd.
I would love for one of these late night hosts to consistently go on air and crack jokes and frame things up like, hey, all this stuff the left does is actually demonic. It's Satan is their ruler. That every punchline went to that. Like, hey, Satan's your ruler. Hey, guys, they drove an abortion truck up to a mobile abortion truck up to the Democratic National Convention and had it right outside the door. You know, this is child sacrifice. It's demonic. It's evil. It's written about in the Bible. If every late night host was constantly just saying, hey, if you support them, you've actually teamed up with Satan, then they would know what we feel like when we hear, hey, if you support Trump, you're either an Uncle Tom sellout traitor as a black person, or you're a white supremacist as a white person. And that gets old, man. And because only one side is doing that on a national stage, it's like we have to live with the repercussions of that.
Don't miss a second of Fearless. Hit that like button and subscribe to keep up with our latest content.